everyone, and welcome back to my podcast. Today, we have a truly inspirational story to share with you. At 46, Ian Clark was bankrupt and given 1,000 days left to live. 5 years later, he survived and built a raw supplement business direct to consumers in his basement, which reached hundreds of thousands of people in just 2 years. Ian hopes to share his incredible story of how it happened, what the business achieved, and how he used it to escape his early death. Furthermore, he wants to guide others on how to manage and heal their own bodies. Ian, I'm so happy to have you here today.
Yes, a pleasure to be here as well.
So before start talking about quality longevity, can you please tell us more about you because you have a fascinating story.
I was very fortunate when I was 46 years old to have some major health crises that showed up, and they were so extreme that
Mm,
I couldn't go with the medical system. I had watched my uncles pass away when I was 20 years old,
mm,
at 51 and 54 years old, both of cancer. They
mm.
both followed exact instructions of the medical world at that time, and they died right on time. One died within 3 months and one within 1 year. And that left a great imprint on me. And so 26 shortly, I was facing the similar things. And it didn't make any sense because that was 2004 and they died in 1978. So I thought, well, for sure, there must be better technology, more information, but there really
Yeah.
wasn't. And so I woke up one morning and I thought, there have to be people on this earth somewhere
Mm,
who have the knowledge about how to naturally support the body to be healthy.
yes.
And I know that I'm just super unhealthy right now. I had a big tumor growing in my abdomen. I had heart disease. I had my liver numbers were way off,
Mm,
and it was a life-threatening situation. So, the medical establishment wants you to believe that if you don't take their treatment, you're going to die sooner. And if you do take their
yeah.
treatment, well, the prognosis was not good.
No.
So I decided to make a request, and it was a spiritual request
Mm,
to be led, to people
hmm.
who have the knowledge and who have the top knowledge, not just regular knowledge.
Yes.
It had to be the best of the best. Just like if you were going to learn how to play a violin, you would want to have the very best teacher on earth
Absolutely.
to teach you if you could.
Yeah.
Of course, they're in high demand. So,
Oh my God.
and all the money in the world could not get you
Mm,
to those people.
I know.
You have to be led, right? It has to go through introductions. I learned about synchronicities. I
Mm,
didn't know much about them at
mm,
all. I just knew that sometimes weird patterns would show up and when they started showing up, then I would pay attention to them because I was at a special juncture
mm.
where I was going to be led to the next phase of this whole journey.
Exactly. So it was a big transition to you, but you had a willingness to, like you said, to learn first and discover what else is there. Because, like the doctors, it was decision or, you know, asking you to do the treatment. It was like a death sentence, really. And unfortunately, I dealt with this situation. I lost my mother when I was like 15 years old to cancer. I lost my sister 18 years ago.
Mhm.
Exactly after 1 year, the way that the doctor um, said is going to happen happened. So, yeah, when discussing quality longevity, what do you see as the elephant in the room that most people might avoiding or overlooking?
Well, that's a billion-dollar question, and here's why. Because in the natural healing space,
Mm,
there are many experts,
mm,
many gurus, many sages.
yes.
They all have very similar messages around,
Mhm,
being meditative and mindful and, doing proper protocols that are very common, cleaning up your diet, detoxification, hydration, speaking well about yourself, being
mm,
kind to others. Those are all very well-known things now. And the alarming thing that I noticed is that the average lifespan of a person who just does what they're told and follows the
mm,
rules of governments and regulations, the average age is 74 years old.
mm,
And when I was listening to all these health people who were guiding me, some
Yeah.
of them died. One of them in their late 50s, one of them at 70, and I'm like, hold it, what's going on? What's the average age of a health conscious person?
Mm-hmm.
I found out that's 81 years old,
Mm-hmm.
and that didn't make any sense.
Yeah.
And then you look at the blue zones, and that's 83 years old is the
Yes.
average age.
Yes.
So I knew that all of us were missing something. I didn't
Mm-hmm.
know what we were missing, but I knew we were missing something,
Mm-hmm.
because if you have a healthy body, it
Yes.
can't die. Literally, the only reason your body will die, well, outside of an accident, but there's a
Mm.
very low percentage of you ever dying in an accident.
Yeah.
But normal life, if you have a healthy body, you can't die. The reason people die is because they have a health issue that comes up and it takes them out.
Yeah.
So I knew that was a very big indication that we didn't know
Yeah.
how to support our body really
Mm.
to stay alive. And then I started to ask myself the question,
Yes.
how much do you care about
Yes.
keeping your body alive?
Absolutely. Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
And then I stepped back and I looked at what do we do physically? Because it's our physical body that dies. Our spiritual being, us, the soul, it
Mm-hmm.
continues on, but it needs to be inside this body attached in order to be in this dimension and to be in service here. So, what do we do physically is we, besides thinking, that's mental, but
Mm-hmm.
physical, we breathe 11,000 liters of air per day.
Mm.
And then the second thing we do the most of is we pump 7,600 liters of blood every single day. And we only have 5 liters of blood in our body. That 5 liters gets pumped through our entire cardiovascular system every minute. And that 5 liters is very important because it carries all the nutrients, it has
Mm.
life in it for our body, it carries the oxygen, it removes the toxins, it's supposed to anyway. And the problem is that when you get older, your cardiovascular fluids become more and more contaminated slowly but surely because you're breathing more air. So a 40-year-old has breathed 40 million liters of air.
No.
Because
Oh.
it's 4 million. I'm sorry, it's not 40 million. It's 4 million liters per year, 40
A
million liters
year.
per decade. It's 120 million liters of air. It's all mathematical. If you do your calculator,
Mm-hmm.
11,000 liters a day times 365 is 4 million, times
Yes.
10 is 40, times 4 is 160 liters, right? So okay, we may want to redo that. Do you want me to redo that little bit about the numbers?
Yes, I'm not even trying to calculate, to be honest. But thank you so much. The way you are explaining it, so clear, and gives us um, at least the reason to think about it. You know what I mean? Because
Right.
sometimes people, they don't even considering thinking about. And you mentioned the blue zone, and I'm also very like interested in learning how people can get to 100-year old. And like you said, we have to learn from those individuals, not the gurus who are like sick or like they died like at 50s. And we want to learn from those guys who move a lot. They have like natural movements, not the fitness. They eat proper, they sleep proper, they have a open-minded, they have a community. So
Yeah, and breathing is important, but just to clarify the numbers so we don't get it wrong mathematically,
okay.
you take a 20-year-old, who's at their prime. They got
Mm-hmm.
the youthful glow, they're at the top of their game.
Mm.
And then you take them 40 years later at 60, and they have a remarkable change physically because they spent 40 more years breathing air at 11,000 liters a day as an adult.
Mm-hmm.
That means they breathed 160 million liters of air more than when they were 20. That brings in an accumulation of toxicity because it's the air we breathe that has all the nanoparticles. You can't see them, they're invisible. They're
And we
made
have
of all
no
the different,
control.
right, the rubber dust and so on.
Yes.
there's many different things in the air that we breathe, and they accumulate because
Mm.
our body cannot keep ahead of the curve unless you support it to do so. And no one knows how to support it yet, very few
Yeah.
people. And so you start to get more and more congested from breathing.
Mm.
Your liver can't keep up, your kidneys can't keep up. Then your blood just gets more and more filled up. Your lymphatic system gets filled up. Every single cell in your body gets filled up with all these nanoparticles. And these
Mhm.
are dangerous things. These are like forever chemicals, rubber and cotton, epoxies, resins, chemicals, heavy metals, plastics. They're
Yeah.
all in these rubber tire dust particles. At any
Mhm.
rate, the good news is I do have the answer to how to fix
Okay.
it. But most importantly,
Mm.
look at places like the blue zones or the health conscious community and the mainstream population.
Mm.
All three of those categories, people live till 100. Not very
Yes.
many, but they live till 100. So
That's the
living till
norm.
100 is not my focus anymore. It used to be. Now my focus is quality of life today, and it gets better tomorrow. So that every
Mm.
day you're alive, you get better. Just like if you're going to learn how to play the violin, like I said
Mm.
earlier, you're going to become better and better and better at playing that violin the longer you play it.
Mhm.
So the longer that you learn about how to support your body's natural ability to heal itself, the better your body becomes. But what we see is the worse the body becomes all the time.
Yeah.
So much worse that it eventually dies.
Mm.
So it's not about living till 100 or 200 or 500. People used to live over 900. It's about what is your quality of life today and what is it going to be like tomorrow and in 10 years from now. In 10 years, it should be far superior than where you're at right now, regardless of your age, once you learn the truth. But if
Yes.
your health is much worse in 10 years from now than it is today in many different areas,
Mhm.
that means you know you're on the wrong track.
Yeah.
I had to admit that. I was considered one of the healthiest 60-year-olds when I was 60.
Mhm.
All these things that everybody knows, but I'm
Mm.
also compared to other 60-year-olds, and
Yes.
that's not the measuring stick.
I know. I know.
Right.
You're so right. Yes.
Yeah.
I
So
know.
when I found out that it was breathing that keeps us alive, and
Yeah.
people do breath work, and if your heart stops, you have 8 seconds and you're blacked out. You have
Mm.
8 minutes until you have to be resuscitated or you are gone.
Yeah.
So the pumping of the blood is essential. You can't turn that off. You can't turn off the breathing.
Mm.
So therefore, then you find out, okay, well, if the blood is what's carrying it in and the blood's what carries it out, but the blood can't carry it out because it gets overwhelmed and the liver and the kidneys plug up, what can we do about that? Well, this is the miracle. And
Mm.
I call it a miracle because it's a miracle that I even learned about this.
Mhm.
The actual functionality is not miraculous at all, it's just natural. So your body is a blood production facility. And when you give your body the raw materials it
Mm.
needs, in nutritional and elemental forms, at the right
Yes.
amount,
Mm.
then your body goes into producing clean blood
Mm.
24 hours a day. When you do that, all the dirty blood that accumulated over your lifetime because you weren't producing enough clean blood, now it has the opportunity to leave your body
Mhm.
through bowel movements. And you keep producing clean blood and keep producing clean blood. That clean blood goes and cleans out your liver, cleans out your kidneys, cleans out
Mhm.
every cell in your body. Your entire lymphatic system cleans out because now it can dump into that clean bloodstream, which
Yeah.
then contaminates it again, but then it cleans itself out. And
Mm.
you end up with perfectly functioning liver and kidneys because they are no longer fighting a losing battle. And that is essential that it come in through liquid. And this is the liquid right here.
Okay.
Now, this is not water.
Mm.
This starts out as water with the base, but if
Mhm.
you change it, because water is H2O, that's the scientific term for water.
Mhm.
As soon as you put a certain amount, which is 5 grams per liter of concentrated sea minerals, then you've turned this into electrolytic fluid.
Okay.
I drink this all day long, and I consume a minimum in liquid
Mhm.
form of 1 pound of sea minerals every single month.
Mhm.
Now, people would listen to
Interesting.
that, like, this guy's dangerous.
Mm. Oh,
Mm.
wow.
Why would they say I'm dangerous? Because the entire society is conditioned in their thinking to believe
Mm-hmm.
high sodium is bad for you.
Mm-hmm.
Every scientific document, doctor, naturopath, all of them will tell you
Mm.
that if you have too much salt going into your system, it is very harmful to your health, that it will eventually kill you, and you'll
Yeah.
likely die of a heart attack, a stroke, or an aneurysm.
Mm.
And it's the worst thing you could do. And as you get older, you're supposed to have less and less salt in your diet.
Mm.
Now, table salts and all these other salts they put into food are
Mm.
poison,
Mm.
they're garbage. But unrefined sea minerals, which are coming from a
Mm.
pure place in the ocean, which we have sourced, if
Mm-hmm.
you put those in your body, they then give your body the ability to produce clean blood. And it
Okay.
has completely changed my body from the top of my head to the bottom of my feet
Mm.
more than I've ever dreamed possible by just doing this one simple thing,
Yeah.
which is now producing clean blood every day because I am the blood producer.
Oh
But I
wow,
can't.
it's amazing what you're saying. Honestly, I wasn't expecting that to be. I mean, I'm following your work on social media, and by the way, you have so many followers. It's crazy. You have thousands of followers on all channels, and it's so crazy. So, how can individual take active steps towards self detoxification to enhance their longevity? I mean, you said you're not focused on longevity, but let's be honest, most I am interested in longevity. Of course, the quality of life it's important, but also I hope I can live, you know, longer. So, what active steps can an individual can take?
Right. And from longevity, no one
Mm-hmm.
wants to live a long time if they don't have health. And most people who
Mm,
live a long time are so
yes.
unhealthy, they just suffering like very much if they live too
Yes.
long. What I'm talking
Mm.
about is continuously getting healthier, and you could live for 100, 200, 300 years,
Oh
which
wow.
sounds radical, but it's not.
Mm.
Yeah, because the body can do that as long as it remains
Yeah.
healthy. So, how do
Mm.
we support that? We support that by always, every single day, making sure we
Mm-hmm.
have a clean fluid of sea minerals coming into our system so
Mm.
our body can produce clean blood, reverse the aging process back to between 25 and 35 years old.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I'm not talking about how you appear because you're in life, you become a character as you get older.
Mm.
So you're going to look your age, but you're going to be a very healthy looking, for example, 65-year-old,
Mm-hmm.
which I am now. And I got my youthful glow back. All the things that I'd lost when I was, in my middle age has all now come back. And my biological measured age is around between 25 and 35, depending on what we're measuring.
Oh wow.
And I consider that I'm just getting started.
Mm.
So how do people do this? They simply get a hold of us, and they can the actual raw materials in the pure form.
Mm.
They're portable, and they add them to their water every day. They make their own electrolytic fluid. They just start it with pure water. It doesn't have to be anything fancy at all. And
Mm-hmm.
they melt that water, and they just consume it throughout the day. And the average amount for the first year or so is they want to get 1 liter per 50 pounds of body weight is
Mm-hmm.
the average for the first year. Then they drop back to about 2 liters a day for the rest of their existence, which is going to be a very, very long time.
Mm-hmm.
And they just continuously do that. When you first start this, because your body has never been given this access, you go through a little bit of a roller coaster ride.
Yes.
Right? And so what I do is I have a course that we're creating right now that people can coach themselves
Mm.
through the course, because I know all the things that happen to people now when they do
Mhm.
that. And what happens to them is very good, but they have to be able to interpret it
Mhm.
so that it doesn't throw them off. Because if they go to a doctor will interpret that as dangerous.
Mhm.
I'll give you an example. We're all told that if you consume too much salt,
Mhm.
you'll get high blood pressure. Like, everybody knows that if you consume lots of salt, you get high blood pressure.
Mhm.
Now, that isn't true, but on the surface level, I started consuming the sea minerals in the water, and within 1 month, I went from a normal blood pressure of 115/65
Hmm.
up to 180 over 120.
Mm-hmm.
That's considered high blood pressure. I drank salt water, the sea salt water, and my blood pressure went up, but I'm telling you, sea salt water does not cause high blood pressure. So it sounds like I'm conflicting with myself, right?
Okay. Yeah.
That's what it sounds like,
Yeah.
but I'm not. It took 7 months of drinking more and more of the sea mineral water
Mm.
until my blood pressure went up. It stayed up there. It then
Mm.
slowly went down back to normal blood pressure, what the world considers normal blood pressure,
Mm.
and it stayed there. It just stays normal now. And I drink mineral water all
Mm-hmm.
day, every day. And I just turned 65 in
Yeah.
June. And so I found out that drinking the sea mineral water normalizes your blood pressure. But why did it go up? The only reason it went up is because now my body's producing more blood because I'm giving it the raw material. I found out that my
Mm-hmm.
cardiovascular system was hardened. I had hardened arteries, hardened veins, hardened capillaries. So all the tubing inside my body had all that debris that I've been breathing getting trapped in the muscle walls of my arteries, veins, and
Mm-hmm.
capillaries. That made them stiff and hard. When I started producing clean blood every day, that clean blood pushed all the dirty blood out. And then all the
Mm.
contamination of the muscle walls of my cardiovascular system cleaned out by the clean blood going through. And within 7 months, I have a supple cardiovascular system like a young person again. It's
Mm.
elastic
Mm.
and it's supple
Yeah.
instead of hard like a 64-year-old was. This is a year ago
Mm-hmm.
I started. I've been doing this it's a 19-year journey, but I didn't
Mm.
find out until a year ago the amount that I had to consume. I've been
Mm-hmm.
consuming small amounts every day, but never the right amount.
Yeah.
At the same time I was doing this, I have a 19-year-old colleague who I gave the sea salt, the
Mm.
sea minerals, like the liquid sea minerals and the unrefined sea salt. I
Mm-hmm.
gave it to them. I said, I want to do an experiment. I want you to drink 1 liter per 50 pounds of body weight, and they are 100 pounds. It's a young 19-year-old social media manager.
Mm-hmm.
So she goes, sure, I'll do that. And so she started drinking the salt water. And within the first 3 months, there was zero increase of blood pressure.
Oh
She
wow.
was athletic. She never had a single thing happen to her.
Mm.
Right. No, but yet there I was going to 180 over 120 in the first month, staying there for 4 months, but
Yeah.
she never increased her blood pressure at all.
Yeah.
So I knew that drinking salt water does not increase blood pressure. It only causes
Mm.
the symptom when you're my age, or if people are 50 and up, it's going to cause a symptom for them
Mm.
because they breathe so much air. At that time, I had breathed 170 million liters of air more than my colleague.
Mm.
That was the only difference between me and her.
Yes. Yeah.
So it's
But
not about
also the
age.
exposure, right? That depends where we live.
Yeah.
Also,
Mhm.
it's important. So if we are like in a big city and we have exposed to a lot of pollution, it's different. But I'm
Mhm.
curious. So in terms of the food, because I'm pretty sure you all also have a diet, or you choose I don't think you eat like sugar, for example, or I don't know, a lot of breads or grains, or I don't know.
Right.
Like I said, I grew up in Romania, and bread was like for Italian people, like pasta was main for every single course. In I don't eat anymore. But
Right.
my
Well,
husband
especially in the
cannot give up on like my husband cannot give up on bread, because we grew up in this way, and I know grain. I'm like, oh, not so good.
Mhm. Well, especially here. So,
Yes.
if I eat any kind of grains that are made in Canada or organic or not, it causes me to feel badly.
Mm,
And when you go to a place like Greece or Italy or Germany
mhm,
and you eat the breads there, I don't notice anything.
mm.
So there's something
Yes,
entirely different about the soil,
it
about
is.
the
It is.
seeds and how they grow it, and
Mhm.
it's a different world altogether.
Mm.
But for the food I eat very
Mhm,
clean, and it's always definitely organic because I don't want it to be sprayed,
mhm,
and it has a high concentration, but I now require 25% of the amount of food I used to eat to satisfy me because my whole system got cleaned out. When within 4 months of drinking the sea mineral water, I
Yeah.
noticed that I didn't need any more digestive enzymes
Mm-hmm.
or any probiotics
Mm.
because the hydrochloric acid in my stomach is made from, and so is yours, made from the chloride minerals that are in the sea minerals. So I get this super powerful stomach acid now. So I don't have any more acid reflux or GERD or any kind of bowel issues at all
Mhm.
because now I digest my food so thoroughly. It goes through my system. My bowel system is perfectly squeaky clean.
Mm.
And I've tested it to make sure that that's the way it is. It's one of those that is just a remarkable change in your whole body because your body
Mm.
runs on electrolytic fluid, which is your blood, your lymph, your mucus, your interstitial fluid, your intercellular fluid,
Mm.
tears, sweat, mucus, everything you name it. It is
Mhm.
electrolytic fluid. If you cry a tear, taste how
Mm.
salty that is.
Yes.
So if you're
Yeah.
drinking straight water, that will diminish the electrolytes in your body because there's an osmotic law between
Mm.
higher salinity and lower salinity. Your body has to donate to it. So now I
Mhm.
drink fluid that donates to me all day.
Yeah.
It no longer steals from my body. And the food we eat doesn't have the minerals anymore because rain, which is distilled water, falls on
Mm.
the earth for thousands and thousands of years, which hungrily dissolves all the minerals out of the soil, into the
Mhm.
water table, into the streams, rivers, and tributaries, and it goes to the ocean. So I found out we got to go to the ocean, got to
Mm.
get those minerals back. That's where they are. They're
Mm.
perfectly biocompatible to you. When you put them here, your body resonates extremely well with that. And you just move on without
Mhm.
any issues at all.
Okay.
All the symptoms that are caused by the problem,
Mm.
they go away because you're removing the actual problem itself.
Yes.
So the medical world and the naturopath world is all dealing with symptoms and
Mhm.
remedies
Yes.
because they don't know yet
Mhm.
what the actual problem is, which is the blood getting more contaminated the more you age.
Mm.
As soon as you reverse that, everything goes away. There's
Yeah.
no reason to have cancer. There's no
Mm.
reason to have heart disease. There's no reason to have Alzheimer's or dementia because you're keeping the body hydrated and cleansed.
Mhm.
And when they cut the head of a corpse open of a person who died from Alzheimer's, they see a shriveled brain. They call
Mm.
it atrophied. And it has a bunch of metals and poisons in it. So they blame the metals and poisons for the problem, but that's not the problem. The
Mhm.
problem is that the blood kept getting more contaminated, the body kept getting more dehydrated, it shriveled up, and then the brain stopped working and the person died because communications were shut down.
Yeah. Oh,
So
wow.
these are simple things.
Yeah. Let's talk about the supplements because we find supplements everywhere. Honestly, it's really about marketing. Whomever pays more for the marketing gets the higher shelf or in front of the consumers. So, what you can tell us about supplements, how we can choose the right supplements? How do we know we take the right supplements? Even like the right, for example, I'm taking magnesium, I'm taking vitamin C, I'm taking, but how do I know? How can I choose those?
Well, that's where you have to get your discernment dialed up based upon your knowledge, your
Mm,
wisdom, where you're
mm,
looking at mathematical information. So
mm-hmm.
what I found out was there's three different categories of supplementation.
Okay.
The most important is called must have. Your
Mm-hmm.
body absolutely needs a certain supplement regime in
Okay.
order to function properly. Then you have your like to have, want to have supplements that you
Mm,
don't absolutely need, but they're fun. They might help you with your brain power. They might do something.
mm,
Then you have your luxury stuff, which is
mm,
all the very expensive things that people who are extremely wealthy they purchase all the time.
mm-hmm.
But if you might have the luxury and the like to have, want to have, which is where all the shiny objects are and all the marketing happens,
Mm,
and people miss the must haves.
mm-hmm.
So the form of the supplement is important as well. When it's in a liquid form, it is much more biocompatible and available when it goes into your body. And you want to have the concentration levels and the purity levels dialed in as well. So you mentioned magnesium.
Mm-hmm.
So there was a 25-year study that showed the majority of people on Earth have magnesium deficiency at a dangerous level, and that everyone is magnesium deficient at any given time to a certain degree,
Mm.
because magnesium is a fuel you burn. You're using magnesium as a fuel. Where calcium goes in more as a structural thing, magnesium, if you're using your brain power a lot, you're burning a lot more. Women burn more magnesium than men because of your cycles, your
Mm-hmm.
hormonal cycles. And also when you're in your cycle and you're losing menstrual fluid, you're losing a lot of minerals that way. And magnesium, the best way to get magnesium is in through the skin, because when you put it on the skin in different parts of your body, it goes right in there where you want it. You don't have
Oh,
to wait, right, to where you
interesting. Yeah.
supplement,
Uh,
goes through your digestive tract, gets filtered out by your kidneys, and then
mm,
what you need gets to where you want it to go eventually.
mm,
And that taxes your body as well.
yeah.
So we have a product that was developed 17 years ago, and it's the most advanced, sophisticated product in the category of magnesium,
Mm-hmm.
because when you put it on your skin, it's very comfortable. It goes
Mm-hmm.
90 seconds. You don't have to wipe it off. You just put it on, wipe it once, and it stays on your skin and goes right in. And it's called EASE, EASE. And
Okay.
it's a very specific form of magnesium chloride hexahydrate. And it's an ocean extract, but it's
Mm-hmm.
done at a super pure level. And there's only one company in Europe that we found on Earth that did it at these purity levels.
Mm,
We buy the raw material from them, and then we have a very special process that takes between 11 and 12 hours in our facility to produce the liquid from that. And then that goes into a spray bottle, and it's as simple as putting it on your hand, wipe it on your skin wherever you can, avoiding any of the sensitive areas.
wow.
And you do that twice a day is the best.
Mm,
Minimum is once a day before you go to sleep, to
mm-hmm.
allow your body to go into a totally restful state to go to sleep.
Yes.
So that's one example of a must-have.
Mm-hmm.
So another supplement that is absolutely essential that people have completely forgotten about
Mm.
is iodine.
Ah,
But it has to be in a very specific form. There's Lugol's iodine, there's all these different iodine products on the market, but
yeah.
they have many, many things in them that your body doesn't want.
Mm,
So what we found out is how to produce a pure form of I2 molecular iodine, and that's all that's in it. It's in a Dalton molecule form, which is like a gas molecule, but we're able to infuse it into medical grade liquid that is super pure. And when you take it, it just releases all these Dalton molecules of iodine into your system. You can
mm,
drink it, you can put it through your skin. It goes in your body no matter where it goes.
mm.
It's going to get inside your body, and it powers every cell in your body. Now, people get very afraid of iodine if they have a thyroid problem. They think, oh, I can't have iodine at all.
Yeah.
But the reason they have a thyroid problem is because of an iodine deficiency,
Exactly. Yes.
right? So, in the same with hypo or hyper,
Mm,
it's the same problem. It's just
mm,
one's reacting more and the other one's going to sleep.
mm,
So, to get yourself in equilibrium, you take the iodine, but that converts to iodide when it
mm-hmm.
reacts with things in your body that it shouldn't be there. So if you have bacterial overgrowth, yeast overgrowth, fungal
Mm,
infection, whatever it might be, the iodine immediately neutralizes those
yeah.
things and converts to iodide, gets picked up by your bloodstream, feeds your thyroid with the fuel it wants, which is iodide. And then your thyroid produces T3, T4 iodine hormones. Now, if a person has gone to a doctor and had a thyroid problem, very many people have
Yeah.
had their thyroid radiated so that it's nuked, it's
Mm.
destroyed. And then they have to be on Synthroid the rest of their life.
Oh, wow.
That doesn't work for people who have Synthroid. The iodine works in their
Mm,
cells, but it doesn't feed the thyroid because the thyroid is gone away.
mm-hmm.
That's the only exception to where people can't benefit from the
Yeah.
iodine side of it. Anyway, this is all very scientific, but it's
Yeah,
very
I think we can actually have another 10. episodes of each topic. And so there are two must have the magnesium. Sorry, yes, you said magnesium and
Yep.
iodine. It's any other must have because you said like three categories.
Yeah, there's a specific form of vitamin K2. It's called MK7.
Mm,
And what that does is it goes into the body with D3, vitamin D3. Now, D3 is really a hormone.
mm-hmm.
Your body will produce D3 if you're out in the sun enough.
Yes.
People don't get enough of that.
Yeah, especially in
So
Canada.
when you combine, yeah, that's right. Well, and there's a way to do it. We have technology that you can stand in front of a UVB light now
Yeah.
and get all the vitamin D you
Mm,
need by your own body's production. It only takes 1 minute per
yeah. I
day.
have one of those lamps actually for the winter
Mm,
time. Mm,
yes. Yeah, that's cool.
mm,
So this is a very specific technology that takes only one
mm-hmm,
minute. But anyway, when people, to guarantee the right
mm,
amounts, you take D3 with K2 MK7. What the K2 vitamin
mm,
does is it makes sure that the calcium you're getting from your food that is properly extracted with the vitamin D3 goes into your system where it's supposed to be. So it goes back into your bones, your jaw, your
mm,
teeth, goes into the places where you really need the
yeah.
calcium. And that way it's not leaching all the time. So that's a
Mm,
must-have vitamin. And during protocols of the detoxification where your body's producing clean blood, you can speed it up
mm-hmm,
with a very simple formula of clove, rosemary, and thyme.
mm,
And so we have this thing called Solaris, and it's a super pure form of the entire plant
mm-hmm,
extract of cloves, rosemary, and thyme. And you just put it in water every day and you drink it,
yeah.
and it allows your body to have all of these contaminants,
Mm-hmm,
these plastics and chemicals and metals converted to inert material, and then it goes out safely.
mm,
You can also put it on your skin.
yeah.
You can spray it in your skin. You can spray so the iodine form we have is called perfect
Mm-hmm.
iodine. You can dilute it down into a spray bottle and spray it on your skin, and it gets rid of all the acne.
I'm trying to find
Now,
your website actually because it's probably easier to explain. Yes, just guide me where I should go.
so if you go up to the top, you'll see a little menu item called products,
Yes.
and you can just drop down and take a look at anything there you like, that's the Ease magnesium,
Mm,
right?
yes.
And that explains about the Ease. And then you go down, you'll see all the different, we have some very specific therapeutic seed oils that you need a tiny amount of. And they
Mm,
go in and they remove all the glue out of your system that's built up from all the adulterated seed oils that are in people's
mm,
diets, right? They
yeah.
go in and cleanse things out. There's Oceans Alive, which is our number one product that we've sold for 17 years now. That's a marine phytoplankton and sea mineral liquid.
Wow. Oh
We
my
have
God.
K2, D3, we've got Trace. There's
Mm,
Solaris right there.
yes.
And so when people click on each thing, it has a brief description of what it is.
Oh.
When they subscribe to our email list,
Mm,
detailed information if they want to drill down to
mm,
understand more about it. And also we have specials that we will offer as well, just to make
mm-hmm,
sure it's more affordable for people.
mm-hmm.
And we've got little bundles there, different bundles for different reasons.
Yes. Oh, wow. So how it works? How do we know what we need? I don't
Well, you
know.
want to start at the foundation.
Mm-hmm.
So what I call functional foundational nutrients and
Mm-hmm.
elements. So Oceans Alive is number one because it has all the nutritional molecules from the marine phytoplankton, plus it has the concentrated sea minerals in it.
Okay.
That's number one. Number two is the Ease magnesium because you're going to be burning that fuel all day. It takes
Mm-hmm.
a while to get your body up to fill your bank account with magnesium,
Yeah.
and then you keep it full. And then the third product is Solaris, which is going to go in and help to cleanse the body. And simultaneous with the magnesium is the iodine. So to get the fuel going in between the perfect iodine,
Mm,
Ease, and then bringing in the Solaris afterwards to mop up all the things that need to leave the body efficiently,
mm-hmm.
that's the protocol. So basically, Oceans Alive is where you begin, and
Yeah.
people can start just with that if they want,
Mm, okay.
and they will feel their internal battery getting charged the more they
Mm,
use. And I recommend when you first start going, use quite a bit because you're not going to have a Herxheimer or a healing crisis from this stuff.
mm-hmm,
You go and you're going to build up the amount of reserves in your body, and then you just go down to maintenance from then on. So you're
mm-hmm.
only having to maintain the levels. You don't have to constantly build up because you've already built up.
Yeah.
And so the Ocean's Live, the Ease, iodine, and Solaris. And then if they want to have more of the concentrated sea minerals, they get the trace and they can add that in. We're also coming out with a new product before the end of the year where you can put the actual sea minerals in a dry form into fluid and make your
Mm-hmm,
own electrolytic fluid using that, so it's even easier to carry around with you. If you travel,
mm-hmm,
you can throw it in your bag and go. That
mm-hmm.
guarantees the amount of raw material you need per day without
Yeah,
having to pack a bunch of stuff with you.
yeah. When we exchange emails, one of the topic was seeing is believing. What did
Yeah.
you mean by that? What do you want to explain to us?
Well, in the physical world, I can have theory, I could
Mm,
have white papers, I
mm,
could have clinical trials, I could do all those things
mm-hmm,
to use data to convince you that I'm
mm-hmm.
telling you the truth.
Yes.
That's what the pharmaceutical world does because they have to do clinical trials. That's what the
Mm-hmm,
nutraceutical world does. They try to produce clinical trials to prove to you, well, this
mm-hmm,
product works and you need this product. Well, I found out that those products, they're okay, but
mm-hmm,
they're not top level. They're more marketing material to get you to be convinced that you should try this. Whereas when you actually have a physical shift in your body,
mm-hmm,
you can see the numbers very quickly change. Like I saw, I had an enlarged prostate, for example. As soon as I started bringing in the right amount of raw materials and my body produced the clean blood,
mm-hmm,
within 90 days, it cleaned all the debris out of my prostate, and the
mm-hmm,
enlarged prostate went back to normal. It was only enlarged not because I was old,
mm,
but because I had contaminated my body by breathing for so long, and
mm-hmm.
not produced enough clean blood. So
Yeah.
once my blood system cleaned out the prostate, my enlarged prostate went away. It didn't cure anything. It just removed the
Mm,
garbage that was in my system. So
yes.
I visibly saw that I had no more urinary problems.
Mm-hmm.
And the sexual function comes back to a male when their prostate heals. And
So interesting.
just getting started to share the information properly,
Mm,
it wasn't ready yet for all those years. I was waiting for it to become the full information.
yes.
And when you release full information, of course, you have people who realize, oh, finally, this is what I've been waiting for. Whereas the other part of the world goes, hey, this is completely crazy. But
Mm,
that always happens whenever you
yes.
have truth coming out because you're going to get ridicule, even
Yes.
resistance at an almost violent level. And then finally people realize it's true. And then they go, oh, well, okay. Oh, I see. So because as people age, they wear out because of all the abrasives that they breathed in,
Mm,
which are nano, invisible, but they're very visible inside the body because
mm,
people's hips and knees are wearing out now. And
mm,
that should never happen. Shoulders
yeah.
are wearing out. That's because of all this contamination in the system.
Mm,
Right? And people like, oh, I've been moving around for 65, 70 years. Now my body's worn out. Well, it's
mm-hmm,
not from the movement, it's from the abrasives that cause the wearing out from moving.
mm-hmm,
If you didn't have the abrasives in your body, you can move as much as you want. You never wear out.
mm-hmm,
So I found out how to release all of these dead particles and half dead cells and dead blood from joints. So you can visibly see it come out. We have a thing called the activator, which I'm going to do a course. I'm
mm-hmm.
not finished yet, but it's on the way. And
Okay.
inside the course comes this small tool you get.
Mm-hmm,
There's no point in buying the tool until you have the course. So you get the course, the tool comes within it, and
mm-hmm.
you can treat your body in 5-minute treatments. You
Oh,
do
wow.
one 5-minute treatment a day, and within a year, you've gone through your whole body and you have visibly removed all of the nanoparticles that you see come out.
Mm-hmm.
Such an accumulated amount that when you do the treatment, it shows up and then it drains out of your system. And
Yeah.
then your knee as well. Like I had a knee that was terrible. From
Mm,
21 years old till 60, I had to walk around with an injured knee because it was injured when I was 21 in an oil rig accident. I
Mm-hmm.
could never water ski or snow ski again because I couldn't twist my knee.
Mm-hmm.
60 years old, I found out how to fix it with this particular treatment
Wow.
that like basically nobody knows about. It worked, and now I can do whatever I want with both of my knees. My left knee, I couldn't do anything. I had to be careful how I walked down a set of stairs. And now I can run down a set of stairs and around corners, and it doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm.
A brand new young knee again, but my
Mm.
body regenerated it
Yes.
on my own body's ability to produce stem cells
Mm.
by stimulating the area. So when I don't really want to show you the pictures today because it takes a whole interview to explain.
Yeah, we can do it again, to be honest,
Yeah.
because it's so interesting. I'm curious about the energy. What is your energy level? Because
So my,
everybody complains about energy, and
yeah.
it's a problem actually,
Mhm.
the energy. And I know the coffee. I love coffee, but I know the coffee is not the answer for bringing the energy.
Yeah, coffee eventually steals all of your energy because coffee with the caffeine, anything with caffeine in it
Mm,
is number one, it's a diuretic.
mm,
So it's going to cause you to lose fluid, which you don't want to
mhm,
do.
mhm,
And it's also going to stimulate your adrenals to force your body to be energized.
mm.
And so you have to pay for that somewhere.
Oh
And
wow.
so it'll
Yeah.
use the bone marrow and the spinal
Mm,
fluid and it uses just a little bit every time.
mm,
But then eventually over time it diminishes where people literally can't get their day started without a coffee.
yeah.
And
I'm one of those. I am.
yeah, right. Well, you can by producing clean blood
Mm-hmm.
and getting your organs cleaned out, getting the right nutrition coming in, getting your electrolytic fluid brought up to the proper amount, you get back online with your energy because then you have the deepest sleeps
Mm-hmm.
automatically. You wake up in the morning refreshed and ready for the day.
Yeah.
You reserve those special hours where if you're going to do a project or write a book or like you're doing podcast or you're doing research,
Yeah, I'm reading for an hour and a half every morning.
right? Right. So you want to do that in that really like dialed in time.
Mm,
Then when your body tells you to recharge,
mhm,
you can go and I will go and I'll lay down for 15 or 20 minutes.
mhm.
I'll
Yes.
immediately fall asleep.
Mhm,
I'll set an alarm, wake up in 15 or 20 minutes, and it's as if I slept for 8 hours
mhm.
because my
Yeah.
body can regenerate so quickly now. And, even in kindergarten, I remember, back when we first started kindergarten in Canada,
Mm,
we would only go for half a day. And halfway through the morning or the afternoon, whichever we were in, we would stop and lay down on the floor and have a 15-minute nap.
mhm. Like a power
I
nap.
remember how amazing those naps were.
Mhm,
And if you adopt that kind of habit pattern throughout your life, you can get a recharge. A 15-minute nap in the middle of the day is worth about 3 hours of sleep.
mhm.
So you want to always recharge your system, and you want
Yeah,
to obey what your body is asking
yeah.
for as well. If it
Oh,
wants to have a nap, have a nap. And because otherwise, if you don't, you'll notice that you're dragging for the next 8 hours.
I know, I
Or if you
know.
had a 15-minute power nap, you're good for 8 hours. So what's with
Yeah,
that?
I know.
But as your body cleans out and you get more
Mm,
nutrition out of the food and you don't have to eat as much food,
mm.
your body's not using so much energy to process all the stuff that you really don't need.
Yes.
So your energy levels just keep going up and up and up.
Mm.
But you want to have that sustained where you can tap in when you need it. If I need
Oh.
energy, okay, I'm going to go and, hey, I need some energy. I'm just going to
Mhm.
tap into my reserves and I'm not going to
Oh.
be burning them up all the time. So yeah, you get more energy, more high quality energy as you do this, the longer you do it.
Mhm.
Because when people get old and their blood system gets more contaminated and they
Yes.
get more tired, the more tired
Mm,
they get, the slower they go. The slower they go, the more tired they get. The
mm.
more contaminated they get because they're not moving. They don't know about drinking these sea minerals because the doctor told them, don't you dare do that.
Yeah,
Stop
I
it.
don't wanna go into the the debate why, but we all know why.
Right.
So, if you could share just one piece of wisdom or a single lesson from your journey with our listener that might maybe save their lives, what
Mhm.
would that be? Just one piece
Mhm.
of, I don't know, advice.
Yes. So it's what you tell yourself.
Mm,
Now, your subconscious believes whatever you tell it. Your
Mhm.
conscious mind is skeptical and wondering and trying to figure it out.
Mhm.
But once you believe something to be true,
Mm.
and then you say, like for example, the scientists found out that we have 10% use of our brain. Well, what scientists? So if
Yeah.
I tell myself from what a scientific community said, oh, by the way, did you know that the humans only have 10% use of their brain? And then I tell myself, oh, you only have 10% use of your brain. My body will listen to that. My
Mm.
subconscious will listen to that, turn off 90% of my brain, and I'll
Mm.
be a drone like everybody else.
Mm.
The fact of the matter is, you have 100% use of your brain for sure.
Mm.
And when you tell yourself that, your entire brain lights up. It obeys you. Oh, I have 100% use. Oh, I thought I only had 10% use. Oh, and then you want to have your joy, your enthusiasm. That's what drives you, continuously increasing.
Yeah.
More joy today, regardless of circumstances, regardless of all your challenges and trials you go through.
Mhm.
Your joy to be always increasing and your enthusiasm to be increasing with it, because that's your real strength. So the world around you is always trying to steal your enthusiasm,
Yes.
tell you, oh, it's not even worth it anymore. Is it even worth it anymore? Right?
But
You're
because
worth
we allowed them, that's the problem. That's the thing. We allow them. We don't have boundaries. We don't,
right.
we don't filter
Yes.
our circle. So I think it's important.
Yes.
Oh my
So yeah.
God. Ian, thank you so much. I have no words to describe how I feel after today's conversation. And I really hope we'll have another Aussie episode. It's because you have so much to share. And I'm pretty sure, because I see people are more and more interested in this type of discussions and
Mhm.
alternative medicine and taking care of themselves. Well, it's often we see people like talking about it.
Mhm.
It's not so often we see people actually applying what they know or what they heard.
Yes.
So I think it's important also, and you need discipline as well. You have to believe, and you need also discipline, right? You need to be every day like that, not just once per week or and we can craft our design our lives and it's in our power to design our lives. So I think, and we can learn from you. We can learn so much from you, and thank you so much for your time. It's been really really a pleasure talking to you.
Yes. Yes. Pleasure as well. So that was very good. And I'll look forward to the next time we can meet up.